Is Faye from Feisworld Media. I don't know where you guys are. I know that I decided to go live sort of unannounced, but in this video, as I'm going live on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, as the title suggests, what I want to discuss and talk about is the fact that my YouTube ad revenue actually went down 50%. Now, that's not insignificant. On average, prior to March, I was getting right around, I would say, $1,800 $2,000 from YouTube ad revenue. And as I'm recording this right now to reflect on the month of March for the past 28 days, really, it's right around $1,000. So I'm going to show you guys the analytics in just a moment. But to tease it out, the reason why I want to record this video is because we often talk about when we have success, when things are growing, when things are trending up, or we should only hear from YouTubers or content creators with significant subscribers, such as over 1 million. But I want to take this opportunity and to walk you guys through without being super scripted, just to show you sort of the ebb and flow, the ups and downs for me as a creator. I'm also here to reassure you that it's absolutely normal, actually, to experience these dips. In addition to stats, and I want to show you sort of every single tab. But what I also want to expose you to, maybe to talk about, is that as a creator, we should know what we want in the long run, which is also related to a book I'm working on, which is called Career YouTubers: A Beginner's Guide. The title is still TBD. And if you're interested in learning more about what I'm writing, I'm about 25,000 words in. In fact, I don't think this is going to be a really long book. And what I'll also launch alongside with the book is a toolkit. So everything that I'm producing, using for YouTube, from analytics, from the software, from my exact setup, which is not this setup, by the way, this is live streaming, and as well as the emails I use for sponsorships, how to attract sponsors, how to respond to them, things like that. I will also just throw everything into a toolkit so that YouTubers and content creators don't have to create everything from scratch again. So speaking of sponsor, I would like to take a moment and thank Restream, which is what I'm using right now to go live. And in a moment, you'll see exactly how I share my screen very easily. And you can also use Restream to go live on more than 30 different platforms. They've been so great. I absolutely love working with them. So without further ado, let's get started. This is a month, or this is a period of me as I'm pivoting to different types of content. And if you have any questions, I'll be sure to pay attention to this. And by the way, if this is a good type of content that actually helps you, please let me know. Give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment below. I want to make sure I go live about this type of reflections and feedback on the first of every month. I would say probably around noon Eastern Standard Time to accommodate the West Coast. I'm on the East Coast, by the way. So yeah, let's get started. So let me go ahead and actually hit share screen, and let me pull up my analytics. All right, guys. So here is my analytics for the past 28 days. It is not exactly 1 month, but you can see that your channel got 71,000 views roughly in the past 20 days. And right below that, YouTube actually tells you that your channel typically get 90,000 to 113,000 views in 28 days. And yes, it went down. So this is an overview. This is my channel analytics overview, and I'm going to go into each and every single tab. I've noticed that YouTube Studio, Creator Studio, now has new features as well. All right. So here's my views for the 28 days. And whenever you see this little icon here, that shows you that when I actually release a new video. So here's my watch time. It looks even, but the moment I change it to the past 90 days, you will see when that dip is actually happening. And here are my subscribers. Usually I get right around 1,800 per month. So everything went down for me, and especially my revenue, which is hovering right around $1,000. So now for you to say that, oh, that actually is pretty good, but let me go ahead and show you the past 90 days. The past 90 days, you can see the trend for views and for watch hours. Maybe it doesn't look all that significant, but here's on the y-axis, you can see that the high was, for example, on February 22nd, 318. And these are measured in hours, which is pretty scary, actually, to imagine somebody watching my channel for over 300 hours. But then, as you can see, the recent past month or so, I barely broke over 200, with the exceptions of a couple of days. Here's my subscriber count. So it was spiking over here, went down. My estimated revenue, as you can see, these are daily right here. And yes, it went down also. Now, here's the thing within the period. So we're looking at the 90-day period at the moment. And here's something I want to talk about too, which is about the top videos within this period. If I give you a moment to look at this, you'll notice that there is a trend going on, which is related to what I'm discussing today. As you can see, YouTube has absolutely favored the content I have whenever I talk about Zoom. And there's nothing wrong with that. There are a lot of creators on YouTube currently, and especially in the past year or so during the pandemic, to produce a new content for Zoom. And for me, the niche that I stumble upon, because I did not guess it, I did not, was a bit of luck, but it was not through any prediction tools or anything like that. I stumble upon the niche within Zoom, which is how to make audio work, specifically how to make audio work for dance and fitness instructors, anybody who's trying to set up a home studio and teach fitness in general. So as a result, right now I have, some of the top videos, 12 Zoom tips every meeting host should know. And the second one is how to use OBS with Zoom, in particular with Windows, which was really tricky compared to iOS. Here's a video that I could say with confidence that I knew it was going to rank high, which is the 9 Zoom webinar tips. So one thing I learned here is whenever I use numbers, number tips or listicles in the blogging world, it has always worked really well for Zoom. People really care about looking good on Zoom. So this was one of the older videos that surprisingly still performing with one click. And since then, Zoom actually implemented upgraded versions of, you can actually adjust how you want to look. You can adjust the intensity of the filters. But the stories, as you can see the dates, what's really amazing about Zoom, and especially if you're starting out or you're seeing a dip, is that try not to get too frustrated, because there are a lot of videos that you produce in the past, way in the past, could be a year ago, that are performing right now. So why are we as creators judging ourselves so much by watching videos that are not performing right away? So that's something I want to know. But I'm going to switch back to the past 30 days, 28 days. And I want to talk about these tabs: reach, engagement, audience, and revenue. So my reach has come down. It's giving you specific percentages, which is 38%. But my click-through rate went up. So that's kind of fascinating. And what also resulted in this segment in this period, I must admit, is because I started trying different types of content. I started pivoting away from Zoom content alone, or let's just say the majority of Zoom content, because I know that deep down, whenever I use the keyword Zoom, whenever I choose to talk about a brand new feature of Zoom, we're talking about their newsletters, even, I don't have to put in a lot of effort related to creating Zoom content. It will still rank, because right now, still, the majority of my audience who found me from last year watching my Zoom videos want to see more. But right now, the market is also more saturated with Zoom videos and content. And granted that, how much more can you teach related to Zoom, right? If you're running a webinar or if you're teaching fitness at this point, with I would say dozens and dozens of videos I've created for Zoom, they're in a pretty good place now. So there will be, in terms of discoverability, my channel has definitely calmed down quite a bit. So here's the thing: whenever I create new types of content, pivoting away from Zoom, then is triggering something for YouTube, is whether YouTube chooses to still recommend my content or not. As you can see right now, it says YouTube in YouTube search, it's 46%, but suggested videos was 20% for the past 20 days. So now if I change it to the past 90 days, remember this is an average as well, that the suggested video was 25%. And if I filter on only February, let's say, only February, I think that kind of that's the earliest I could go. It's you see the numbers going up. So YouTube is favoring my new types of content less and less. However, if I keep going at it, and this is my own prediction, and that this is why I want to do this type of videos more often. If I keep going and produce a content I truly believe in, which I'll show you guys in a second. In fact, I can show some of that to you guys right now. The type of content that I am pivoting, that I'm working with my producer Herman on, are as content creators, for me in particular, YouTuber, podcaster, entrepreneur, I want to show you guys new tools that have helped me so much, such as Spark AR is actually a filter that you can design and create for your own brand on Instagram. Rice Sonic is one of the first AI tool that can help you write full-on articles, your Facebook ads, you name it. And I had a first look into Rice Sonic and I recorded a video I can't wait to share with you guys. Furthermore, I am really into the idea of YouTube, not just YouTube for anybody, but YouTube for content creators, YouTube for people who are a little bit older. I would say, 35 and up, who are coaches and speakers. So if you happen to be one or know somebody who is, please introduce my channel to them. I would love to connect with slightly older YouTubers and creative entrepreneurs. And so I'm connecting YouTube, how to grow on YouTube, but also um, people, questions and things people are talking about, such as how should I be on TikTok when I'm already on YouTube? How can I reach more audience through Facebook groups? And also even back to Zoom, for example. I'm running a Zoom event, but I don't know how to introduce more people to it. Is I want to kind of piece everything together because ultimately, in order to run a successful business and be a successful content creator, which is what I'm about, it's important to create an ecosystem. But before you create one, you have to understand what an ecosystem is. So I'm just kind of giving you a sneak peek behind the scenes of what Feisworld is about to create in the near future. And speaking of which, for you guys who don't often watch or know that there is such a thing as YouTube Creator Academy, they're there. I mean, as you can see the URL, and there are ways where you can optimize your work more. You can evaluate your YouTube journey as opposed to your performance on YouTube only within the past 28 days. How to work not only harder but smarter, creating templates, creating shortcuts, things like that. All right. Coming back to my analytics, let me filter back to the past 28 days. There are other things I want to show you guys. One thing I have to admit is that the past month has not been very easy. There were a lot of news. The pandemic is still here. There's a lot of violence against Asian immigrants. So I made a decision to kind of pivot my energy to help basically psychologists and friends I know to create these webinars to kind of show that and kind of just bring people together to talk about their anxiety, their stress, and their family dynamics, and how they're personally or how we collectively process this very hard time together. And as a result, I also decided to not share my videos as much on across my social media channels. So if you happen to be someone who's following me, you probably noticed that on my personal Facebook page, as well as my company page, LinkedIn, I kind of muted my channel a little bit. Frankly, I don't think that would have really reduced the traffic by 30%. Regardless, it was just my way of thinking it through, where I want to be, the type of content creator I want to be into 2021, into 2022. But that definitely maybe attributed to a bit of a dip as well. So, scrolling down YouTube traffic sources, the last two categories under reach is fascinating because it's telling you that the proportion of your total traffic. So, not only that you can recommend your own videos through your videos through your own videos, right? But also you could be part of other people's playlists, which I didn't know about before. So, if other playlists, such as the top 20 Zoom tips and tricks, would also recommend your video, could be a playlist, could be somebody else's video, then you can actually gain a lot of traffic and awareness from there also. And here is this right here, traffic source playlist. These are just my own playlists, and you can see which is the most popular, which is less popular. Okay, let's go into engagement. engagement, watch time. I already talked about that. But now this is a section where it's kind of fascinating, or there's a bit of a bug there. Right now, it's giving me latest videos ranked right here. So the latest, the last 10 videos, and how people are engaging with them. Still watching at 30 seconds, which is a pretty important indicator. Who are still watching the first 30 seconds without dropping off. In fact, a lot of people on YouTube will drop off after the first 5, 10, even 15 seconds. So based on what I can tell right now, still the highest engagement, at least for the first 30 seconds, come from my Zoom related videos. So I have how to record gallery view in Zoom, Zoom versus Google Meet, how to upgrade your Zoom setup. You get the idea. But I want you to look to the right-hand side as well. There are 4 indicators, which I have a separate video to explain what they are. Intro, continuous segments, spike, and dip. So let me use this first video as an example. Introduction. You can see that how many people are dropping off, and try not to get confused by the percentages on the left. You want to pay attention to the percentages on the right. So 100. So down here, as you can see, within the first 30 seconds, about 77% of the people stayed, which I'm pretty happy, right? And then just keeps dropping off, kind of flattens right here. And from here, after 2.5 minutes, about 50% of the people dropped off, which is not bad because the video itself is only 3 minutes and 40 seconds. Let's take a look at continuous segment. So in terms of continuous segment, this is interesting. This is when I interviewed an author, and this is an interview format. And it's basically showing flat that people who stayed from 42 minutes actually stayed all the way through 57 minutes. And that's interesting. That is something, wow, it says, good job. Viewers watch this section without dropping off. So as a content creator, for me, for you, you want to go back to a segment like that and to see what you're talking about. Did you start a storytelling piece, or did you continue to explore a topic that could be of your audience interest? All right, let's move on to spikes real quick. So spike here. So spike is interesting. That means that people are actually watching more of it. So let me play this real quick. No cost other than the software you're purchasing. Speaking of which, thanks to today's sponsor. So in that segment that's going up, that means people, not that all of a sudden more people showed up, but people could be going backward and trying to watch it again, but meaning that you're getting more people to be interested in that segment. So there, what I did was I explained a monetary issue. In fact, how to basically how to not spend any money and still get the feature. I think that's what I was talking about. So that's kind of interesting. Lastly, the dips. The dips means after I said something and people just disappeared. Again, as a content creator, don't try to judge yourself so much on it. And also because for time's sake, I am kind of demonstrating a single video. What you want to do is go back to at least a few videos to understand the trends, and just trust me, don't beat yourself up so much. So there we go. Let's see what happened. To all you creative entrepreneurs out. Okay, I already know what I did. So one trick, as Ali Abdul said, for you to close your video, what you don't want to do is, hey, this is the end of the video. People will drop off immediately. In fact, what you want to do is either tease out new content, or at the beginning of the video to say, if you watch all the way through, there's something I'm going to reveal to you. But what I did there was just the opposite. Instead, I said, hey, thanks for watching this video, and then it just went on explaining to people why they should subscribe, and also who I'm about, why I created this channel. At that point, people has already gotten everything they need from the video. They don't need to hear any more of it. So I just want to share this, and let me know if you find this helpful. Leave me a comment, ask me more questions in case there are details I am not covering. All right, so let's see. Audience. This video is getting a little long, but the audience, as you can see, the subscribers went down. It also tells you the returning viewers versus unique viewers. Here's what's interesting that I notice. Here's when my viewers are actually on YouTube. Some of this has to do with the time zone where you are. Again, I'm on the East Coast, so I do know that I have a good number of viewers from California. So I can imagine them, waking up. If I were to release videos at 9 in the morning, are they really waking up at 6 a.m. to try to watch my video? So noon seems to be pretty popular there, and I'll try to stick to it. But some of this also has to do with when you normally release your videos. If you have been releasing videos in around noon, early afternoon, then that's also when you're potentially going to see the spike. That's when you are notifying your audience that you're either live or you just dropped a new video. So these are all the details that I recommend that you take a look at. And lastly, here's my revenue. One thing that that's I think is pretty impressive is my playback CPM has always been high, and some people ask me why they're higher. I have content creators, friends who create coffee, food, makeup tutorials, vlogs, and those tend to be a little bit lower, whereas the type of content I'm creating is a lot of how-to tutorials, technologies. So as a result, it's relatively high. I've definitely seen even higher categories such as personal finance in general, credit card videos. Those are really, really high. I've seen something as high as $50, $70, but this is all an average. Remember that each video is going to have a different CPM. And RPM is the price I believe that YouTube will pay us, because this CPM, playback CPM, this has YouTube's cut as well. You don't get all of it. Last time I checked, I believe YouTube content creators get 55% and YouTube gets 45%. There it is. So here's my full-on out of my dip YouTube ad revenue. As you can see from last year, November, January, February. February was even a really, I'm surprised how high it became, and my March was 1230. And so April right now, 5 days in, that's actually pretty low. Usually by now I have something more than $77. However, YouTube is usually about 1 to 2 days behind on calculating the total. So as I'm injecting my ideas and my philosophy throughout this video, as a content creator, you cannot just rely on YouTube ad revenue as a significant, or especially not a single revenue source. You have to think about multiple revenue sources at all time. In fact, if you're watching this and you have not hit your 1,000 subscribers, I highly recommend that you consider understanding affiliate marketing, affiliate incomes. You can make money way before you become monetized on YouTube, which is the thing that I'm really glad that I realized before I hit my 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours. So, and later on, if you're someone who is experiencing the dip is very hard. I do recommend Seth Godin's book. It's called The Dip. Read it. It's a short one. It will help you understand why it's important. In fact, sometimes when you experience the dip, as I'm experiencing right now, it's just a little bit painful, but it usually opens up new doors for you to have reflections and realizations to where you're going. Because even though my Zoom videos have been performing in the past and still are, I don't want to rely on them. I don't want to only rely on Zoom videos and be the YouTube creator who does Zoom and nothing else. So I hope this is helpful, guys. And again, drop me any comments, questions. I'm here to answer them. I'm really thrilled to be building this channel with you guys and to talk more about YouTube and monetization on YouTube, having a career on YouTube, as well as how to not just know how to use Zoom, but also how to actually build a business around Zoom, how to create and understand the ecosystem. So in the near future, I'll be talking about digital products as well. I have been working on affiliate marketing and creating my own digital products, whether it's the digital timers I sell for Zoom, or their new courses and downloadables I'm designing, developing. I'm going to put on Squarespace, where I host my websites, and then to really build multiple revenue stream. Multiple videos, I'll be sure to list in the description below. But what's most important is that I personally, and on behalf of Feisworld, I do not rely on YouTube ad revenue alone. So that's it. All right. Thank you for watching, guys. And I look